Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to DJ-TLM TV. My name is DJ-TLM, and I have to start this video with an apology, and that is because this video was supposed to be out at least 2 months ago, and everything that could go wrong has gone wrong in the process of recording a special video for the Pioneer DDJ-SZ versus the Numark NS7II. I tried it a couple of times. I recorded a bunch of footage, and one time the audio was wrong or not recorded. Another time I lost video footage, it got deleted. It's a long story, but I decided to drop the whole idea of making a big special video, and I'm going to turn this into one of my Q&A videos. Also because I get this question at least once a day, either in the comment section or through email. You want to know which controller you should pick, DDJ-SZ or the NS7II. Now, you know what my answer is going to be, right? If you've seen a lot of my videos, then you probably know what I'm going to say right now. I can't answer that for you. It is what it is. I can't answer that for you. This choice has to be based on your personal preference. You have to decide what it is you expect from a controller and what it is you need, and also take budget into consideration. So I'll start right here. My choice is the NS7II. Numark NS7II is without a doubt the best controller ever. It's on the top of my wish list. That is not a fact. That is my opinion based on my personal preference. I'm a DJ / turntablist. Turntables are my first love. I DJ with turntables. I know how to get the job done with a CDJ, but moving platters feel better for me, and I can perform better with moving platters. So that's why I chose the NS7 years ago, and the NS7II is an upgraded version of the NS7. Now, before I continue, if you haven't seen my reviews, DDJ-SZ, Numark NS7II, check them right there. Long reviews, a lot of information, and it can help you decide which one would be better for you. So check those out if you haven't checked them, because you're going to need that information. You can go to their website, you can compare specifications and all that, but videos might help you out because you can see them in action. Now, like I said, my choice is based on my personal preference, and in this video I'm going to keep it very short. I'm going to just take you through some of the unique features on both controllers and things that you can think about when you make your decision. First of all, the thing that was the easiest for me to decide was the fact that the NS7II has moving platters. So if you're into turntablism, or scratching is something that is important to you, you want to learn it, you want to incorporate it into your DJing, you want to use it a lot, NS7II is your best choice, because you're going to learn to scratch. It's going to be easier to learn on a controller with moving platters or turntables. It's just going to be easier. You get the hang of the feeling a lot better with moving platters. So if that's your thing, it's the easy choice. Now, I'm not saying that the NS7II is only for people who came from turntables and want to try a controller or turntablists, because that's definitely not true. It is a very good controller, and it does have the option to turn the platters off if you don't want moving platters. But you do have to remember one thing. If you turn the motor off, you can't use the platters the same way you could use a jog wheel on a CDJ or on a SZ in scratch mode. So when the motor is off, you can hold the platter, but that's not going to stop the music. The only thing you can use the platters for is to slow it down or speed it up a bit. So that is important. If you don't want moving platters, but you do want to have the ability to use your jog wheels for a little bit of scratching, don't use the NS7II. It's not for you. You can go with the DDJ-SZ or any different controller or CDJ, whatever. So that is a very important thing to think about. And just because of that feature alone, I don't see the use in really comparing them, because it's a different animal. It is. But I'm going to do the comparison anyway. And let's take a look at some of the unique features that might help you make your decision. Now, the SZ has the colors on the performance pads. Both of these controllers are big. They're the biggest controllers. 4-channel controllers for Serato DJ. They both have the 8 performance pads, but the pads on the SZ have colors. And you can use that, for instance, in your hot cues to color code your cue points, which is a pretty cool feature. So imagine if you want to make your first beats a certain color, you can make them a certain color. For instance, yellow. If you want to make your breaks a color, you can make them red or blue. If you want to use the performance pads for drumming, you can give your kicks a certain color, your snares a certain color, and that's going to make it easier to see what is what without looking at your computer. So it's a cool feature. The NS7II doesn't have that. The NS7II is not a colorful controller. It's a very good looking controller, in my opinion. All black, and everything that's illuminated is illuminated in red. The SZ looks more like it's on a carnival, especially if you start it up. You get every light you can imagine, and it lights up the room like a Christmas tree. So they definitely have a different look and feel to them when you see them. But the color thing is pretty cool. Now, the DDJ-SZ also has the dual USB, 2 USB ports, which means that you can play with 2 DJs. You can both plug your laptop in, and you can split the controller in 2. So you can take your laptop, take one jog wheel, control 2 decks, and someone else can take the other jog wheel and control 2 decks in his or her laptop. You can also use that for a smooth transition between 2 DJs. Imagine if you're DJing and the next DJ has to start playing, he can plug in his laptop, take one half of the controller, start on that side, you can plug your laptop, take it out, and then he switches the other side to his laptop as well. So you can make a seamless switch between DJs. But if you're going to use the SZ at home, this is probably not a feature that you'll be using a lot. So it sounds pretty interesting, but you have to imagine if you really need it. Now, another feature on the SZ, which is pretty impressive, is it was the first controller, I think the first controller, that also allows you to use it as a DVS. So you can connect 2 turntables or 2 CD players, and you can use those turntables or CD players to control 2 decks in Serato DJ, as you can see in my review. Now, this is something that you can't do with the Numark NS7II. But keep in mind, if you look at my review, you can tell that the SZ is very large, and if you want to add extra equipment, it's going to make your setup incredibly large. So you're going to need space for that, and I don't know if it really works that well. I mean, there's a lot of space between the turntables, and for my style of DJing, it's a little bit too big. Also, you have to think about if you really need 4 platters for your channels. Are you going to be DJing with 4 channels a lot? But it does have that feature. So if you're interested in that feature, you have to go to the SZ. There is another option, but I'll get into that in a minute. So let me go over to the NS7II for a minute, because it does have a cool feature as well. And that is the fact that most of the knobs, all the EQ knobs and effect knobs, are capacitive touch sensitive knobs. What that means is that if you activate that feature, you can trigger the function just by touching the knob. So you can kill the bass just by putting your finger on top of the bass knob on the EQ. You can start an effect just by touching the top of the button. Pretty cool feature, and once you get the hang of it, you can do some cool stuff with it. So that's a feature that is unique to the NS7II. I don't know if that's going to be something that would make the decision easier, but it is a definite difference between the two. Now, I think the most important thing to mention right now, especially if you're thinking about getting one of these controllers for home use, and you're not thinking about, or you're not professional yet, let me put it like that. The price. Now, the price will be different in different countries, but I know that I've seen it in the States. The SZ is around $2,000, and the NS7II is around $1,400. So that is a $600 difference. In my country here in the Netherlands, the SZ is 2,000 euros, and you can now get the NS7II for, I think, 1,100 euros. So that's a 900 euro difference. So that is something to keep in mind. That's a big price difference. And if you want to compare build quality, don't think that the NS7II is built of lesser quality when you compare it to the DDJ-SZ, because in fact the NS7II is made out of metal and the DDJ-SZ is more of a sort of plastic. It's bigger than the NS7II, but it's way lighter. That's not just because this is metal, it also has the 2 direct drive motors in there, but the NS7II feels way more solid than the DDJ-SZ. Now, if you're thinking about mobility, this one is heavier, so it's a lot less easy to carry. This one is bigger, but it's easier to pick up. So all these things are things to keep in mind when you make your decision, but I cannot make this decision for you, and I can't name one of the two the best controller unless you're asking me for my personal opinion based on my personal preference. So I think I'm gonna leave it at that right now. I mean, they have more features, but like I said, check the reviews. This is something that you need to think about. What is it that you're looking for? And does either of the controllers offer you more of what you were looking for? Now, real quick, there's one thing I'd like to add, and I didn't want to do it in this video, but it makes sense to add that information right here. Like I told you, the NS7II has the moving platters, but you can turn those off, but if you turn them off, you can't use them as normal jog wheels for scratching. If you like the features on the NS7II, but you don't want moving platters, be on the lookout for Numark's new controller called the NV. I think it's called the NV. It has a lot of the features that are on the NS7II, including the capacitive touch-sensitive knobs, but it has normal jog wheels. So that could be a pretty cool option as well. It also has dedicated buttons for Serato's brand new feature, Serato Flip. That is very cool. On the Pioneer side, Pioneer is coming out with the SX2, and the SX2 has a lot of the features that you could find on the SZ, including the different colors on the pads, and it also has a dedicated dedicated buttons for Serato Flip. The SX2 also brings the DVS capability to that controller, so you can also connect 2 turntables or 2 CD players and control 2 decks in Serato DJ. Only thing is, you will have to buy a special expansion pack to make that feature work. Serato is doing that a little bit too much, but keep that in mind that they both offer 2 different controllers that are coming out that could be cool to take into consideration as well. So I hope this info helps you out. Think about it carefully and make your decision. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. And I'll be back tomorrow. Good luck, guys.